Hello and welcome. In this video we will show you some tips and tricks on how to start with the Final Cut Pro. If you just installed Final Cut Pro for the first time and you are not sure what to do next, this video should help you get started. How much storage do you actually need? What are the most important shortcuts you should learn? How do you import media into Final Cut Pro? This video should help you kickstart your next project and help you get familiar with Final Cut Pro. Before we begin, just a quick disclosure. I am by no means a Final Cut Pro expert. All tips in the video are based on my own experience. If you have any questions, please let me know down below in the comment section, where you can also share your tips and tricks with the community. Let's dive in. UI in the Final Cut Pro is actually quite well laid out. Obviously, it can be modified to fit your workflow, but out of the box, you have your media and library in the top left corner. Here you can import and organize all your media, but more on that later. In the top middle, there's a preview window, and on the right from it, we can find the inspector. In here, you can further adjust various properties of the clip, which is currently being previewed in the preview window. Majority of the bottom half is reserved for the timeline. This is where all the magic happens. In here, you can drop your media where they can be further organized, trimmed, edited. You can add music or voiceover. You get the idea. On the bottom right, you can toggle effects and transitions browser. Of course, this is a very simplified preview, and Final Cut Pro is a very complex editing software, but this should give you a better idea about the general software layout. Okay, so let's say you are familiar with the interface and you have all your footage ready. How do you import it into Final Cut Pro so you can work on your movie? However, before we start with the actual import, make sure to rename your library. Library will contain your events where all your imported media can be found, including video, audio, and still images. Now simply click on Import Media and choose where you want to import your media from. This could be an internal Mac storage, external storage like SSD drive, USB drive, or SD card. You can also simply drag and drop your media into the media browser. Once all your media are imported, you can now preview them using Skimmer. Skimming is the fast way of previewing your media. You can simply hover over the clip with your pointer in order to preview video with the audio on or off. Now, here are some shortcuts that will definitely make your life much more easier. We recommend you to use and learn as many shortcuts as possible down the line in order to speed up your workflow. So some quick playback shortcuts. We can press L for forward playback. We can press K to pause. We can press J for backward playback. Or we can simply press space for pause. We can also press L multiple times to speed up the playback, as you can see here. You will quickly learn that Final Cut Pro is using something called magnetic timeline, which in most cases works great and helps connect individual clips. However, if you need to create a gap in between two clips, press P, just like this. Let me find the example in this project here. So right now, if you would like to move this outro section here, it doesn't let us. It keeps snapping back. But if we press P, like this, we can simply position this clip anywhere we want to, and it will create us this artificial gap here. You can also press A for the select tool, which is a default for timeline manipulation. If you want to check these quick shortcuts, you can actually find them here. So select is A, trim is T, position is P, range selection is R. So we can press R to activate the range tool. You can select the range of the video. It's really handy if you, for example, just need to cut out this part of the video. Boom, there you go. Press A again to go back to select tool. You can also press V to make the clip invisible without need of deleting it. So for example, if we want to work, let's go here. If we want to work on this clip here, but we have this clip above, which is kind of going in our way, we can just press V and the clip is still there. We don't need to delete it, but it's invisible right now. And if you, for example, want focus on few selected clips or just one clip, exact opposite of the V option is the option S. So if you go option S, for example, and have this one selected, you can see it's isolated from rest of our timeline. So this is the only clip we can work with now. And if we apply effects or new filters, it will only affect this clip only. It won't mess up with the rest of the timeline. Again, if you just go option S, you'll go back to full selection. If you ever want to delete a clip, but you don't want magnetic timeline to mess up your order, simply press Shift and backspace, and clip will not snap to another clip next to it, as you can see here. To toggle magnetic timeline, press N. So for example, now all the clips are snapping. If I press N, it's not snapping anymore, and we can more precisely position our clips. Really handy. You can also toggle it here. If you want to toggle video skimming, press S. So now it's disabled, therefore we cannot preview the clips simply hovering over them with the cursor. But if I press S, you can see the skimming is turned on. Same applies here. I can quickly skim through the clips. And if I want to skim through these clips also with the audio on, just press Shift and S. And now you can preview it with the audio on. You can also toggle these two here. So this is video only, this is together with the audio. And finally, if you want to see your entire timeline, simply press Shift and Z to zoom out to the exact length of the current timeline. Of course, there's a ton of other shortcuts for Final Cut Pro, but I find these to be particularly helpful during my workflow. Before you start importing the footage in Final Cut Pro, you need to be sure that you have enough storage available to work with. We all know that the most efficient way to work on projects is to keep them on fast and reliable built-in SSDs. However, if you have the base storage option of, let's say, 256 gigabytes, like I do on this M1 MacBook Air, you will quickly find out that while project might have just a few gigabytes at the beginning, it will quickly grow, and sooner or later you will run out of storage. And that's just one project we are talking about. Therefore, I would highly recommend to investing into some speedy and reliable external SSD. For example, I'm using this very popular Samsung T7 portable SSD, and you can get it up to 2 terabytes of storage option. I will leave the link to it in the description down below. From my own experience, project of 4K video, which is around 10 minutes long, can take up to 10 to 50 gigabytes. Of course, it also depends on the media format and codec you will be using. Keep that in mind before starting your next project. Also, did you know that Apple actually offers 90-day trial for you to try before you go ahead and purchase the full version? It is a full-fledged app with all its functions and powerful features. This is a great way to test the waters before you pull the trigger and get the full version. So this was just a very brief overview of Final Cut Pro features I wish I knew before I first went and created my first movie. I hope you will find it helpful. Let us know down below in the comment section what specifically are you curious about in Final Cut Pro, and what else would you like us to cover in the future. Don't forget to subscribe for more tutorials and tech reviews. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one.